I got a story to tell you. So there's this lady from our local Toyota dealership who had been calling and calling us for about a month now, leaving us voicemails saying that they had reviewed our contract and that they have an offer for us to get involved in a newer vehicle. But this is pertaining to the RAV4, not my Corolla, which is this vehicle. My mom happened to tell me yesterday, hey, my tire pressure warning light came on. Could you take it to the dealership one of these days, this coming week, and get that done for me because I completely forgot yesterday, meaning Saturday, and the service department is closed on Sundays. And I said, sure, I'll go tomorrow. So I go today. While they're working on our RAV4s, I'm like, all right, let me go ahead and ask for the lady who has been calling me so that we can go over the information that she has for me. I go to the desk and then one of the guys gets this lady, and then this lady pretty much fills me in. To sum it all up, she's saying Toyota has just rolled out with new safety features in the new generation of vehicles, and we see that your RAV4 has pretty low mileage on it. Thus, its value is pretty considerable. We can get you to trade it in for a new vehicle at around the same price. Immediately, I frown, but I'm like, all right, I have been intrigued by the safety features that I'm seeing. And to you guys, if you've been in my channel long enough, you should remember that I put out a video talking precisely about the safety features that car companies are coming out with and how I felt about it. So if you want to know my opinion, check that video out so that I can cut time on this video and stay on today's topic. Then I said, yeah, I would love to learn more about it, because even though I'm really not in need for a new vehicle, there are some questions and some just curiosities that I have about this new technology that's been implemented into vehicles. So hook me up. And then she was like, all right, I'll go get you an actual salesperson who is more informed and better trained on this technology. So they find me a guy who I actually see at the store that I work at. All right. He immediately recognized me and he was like, all right, I can help you today with, what you're doing today. The RAV4 is both my mom's and mine legally, like it's co-signed. So that's why I was able to do all of this on her behalf. I was like, I know that mom would want me still, regardless, to find this information out, because I tend to understand this matter better when it comes to our vehicles. I said, why not? While I'm here, I really didn't have anything planned in the evening. The guy is like, pretty much explaining to me what the lady had explained to me that I just told you guys, except that he said, and if you would like to drive it, we can drive it. And I said, yes, I want to drive a new vehicle. I tried, of course, to record my experience, but I couldn't. The questions that I had were, okay, does this mean that this engages in making braking decisions and evasive maneuvers on its own without my input? Am I still 100% the driver at will of this vehicle, or does this vehicle have its own robotic soul? And he was like, well, it is intelligent, we can say that, but you are still, of course, the full driver of this vehicle. This is not necessarily going to apply brakes for you for every situation. It's more of a, if you are approaching an object and it can be a fatal kind of impact, that's when it will make the decision for you to engage on applying brakes for you. Say, it also has this option, these buttons, to where you can tell it how sensitive you want for it to be. Do you want for it to tell you at a nearer distance and how often, or if you want for it to be a little more chill about it. We had it set to the highest sensitivity possible. One of the things it does is while you are driving, it lets you know if you're getting out of your lane, and at the same time, when you engage the blinker, it won't beep at you telling you that you're invading the next lane because it knows that you are trying to switch lanes. But the benefit that I saw to that feature is that if there's a cop behind you, it will save you from a failure to use the blinker ticket, because while you have the blinker on, it will not beep at you, so it lets you know that you're doing the right thing. If you start invading the next lane without the blinker on, it thinks that you mean to stay on your current lane, but you're having a situation where it could be raining hard or your visibility is poor and you're just getting off the lane. So I thought that was a pretty neat feature. Every single safety feature, you can completely disregard it. You can turn it off. Be a normal, regular driver like you've been all of your life. Another thing is, if there is a vehicle in front of you and the light is red and they have stopped and you're approaching it slowly, it won't beep at you. Like, it will, to give you a warning that it's detecting an object that's dangerously close to the vehicle, but you actually can and probably will run into the vehicle and it will not engage the brakes for you. So it's not like it's saving you from each and every wreck in the world. It's trying to keep you safe from a fatal accident. So if you're going to smash into a vehicle, that is when all of these safety systems and its own automatic braking comes about. I didn't get to try the pedestrian example, like, oh yeah, let's totally see if this vehicle is gonna let me run over that old lady crossing the street. I didn't have like anywhere where there was a pedestrian, and I really didn't care to see that in action. If we would have driven the RAV4, that's XLE, in the mirror, it would actually have another sensor. It's all by radar and signals and stuff like that, but it has a sensor for your blind spot. So if you have a vehicle in your blind spot, it will let you know that there is a vehicle, but it will be kind of subtle about it. Whereas if you're actually trying to switch lanes while there's a vehicle in your blind spot, that's when it'll go nuts and it'll start beeping at you. It's kind of, the way I look at this system, it's sort of an extra set of eyes for if you're having a night or a day where you just cannot drive, or your license mind is just invalid for whatever reason. When I thought of my mother being the primary driver of the RAV and upgrading to this, I know that she's going to be turned off because she's been driving for like 38 years and she has had a perfectly clean record. No wrecks whatsoever. The ones that she's been involved in is someone has run into her, but it's not like she ran into someone or she drove into something or hit someone. For me, if you watch my first video about this, it's like, oh, have we really become so terrible that we need for the car to actually make our driver decisions for us when we are the entities that have the will and power and attention and control of the vehicle? I personally do not care to own a vehicle like that because, like I said, I earned my license. I am always paying attention, and all I need for the car to do is to go forward, backward, turn to the sides, and stop when I need it to. Having these safety features, it's like, just how distracted do you have to be? How irresponsible do you have to be to need this stuff in your vehicle? For me, it was a great experience. I was impressed by all the things that a vehicle can do. But at the same time, do I really want to take the time to learn about those systems and them engaging and possibly making decisions for me? I just cannot conceive a circumstance where I'm too distracted or just too irresponsible to be about to smash into a vehicle or smash into someone. Either I might have someone taking me as hostage while I'm driving, or I don't know, I have to really be wanting to die that day to be texting and driving for me to be caught in the situation where I'm about to smash into something or someone. I'm impressed by the technology. It's a tremendous progress on Toyota's part. Like, I am actually wowed at how much computers can do, what cameras can do. This all is pretty much based on cameras. Like, there are cameras pretty much everywhere, and they're constantly monitoring your surroundings. So, it helps me see the usefulness of cameras besides filming or taking pictures. So that was a good mind opener for me. But for me to actually have the desire to own this vehicle, no. And the worst part of it is that my mom and I are almost through paying it off. So if we were to trade it in, yes, it's going to bump down the sticker price by a couple $1,000s because of the perfect condition and low mileage that our current RAV has. But I am trying to freaking get rid of the monthly payment and the debt in general of having a new vehicle. So this would put me at a new loan. And then the guy, he was kind of like disappointed in the end because he thought that I was gonna drive off the new vehicle off the parking lot. And I'm like, first of all, I'm not going to make the ultimate decision on my mother's behalf without consulting her because it's only 50% my input. And second of all, the idea is for us to be done with a loan. When are we going to get out of the debt? And that's the trick. That's why the dealership was like really thirsty to get in touch with us to see if they can sell this new vehicle for a few $1,000s less, but they're still selling that new vehicle that's hitting the road and people are seeing. And I'm like, I know that you gotta make $1, but you probably won't make it on me. But I'll still share my findings and my experience with my mother. I'll let her know how it went and what I thought was interesting. And I will be honest with her. I'm like, Mom, I don't think you need this. I also know that you will want me to teach you how all of these setups and things work. And for me, it was confusing. The speedometer itself was confusing. I can see her being frustrated transferring the knowledge and training of driving that she has into something that's heavily computerized. And not only that, but don't even get me started on how much the maintenance is going to be worth. It's stuff that you got to think about. It's not, oh, I just have the monthly payment, I can afford that. No, you have to consider stuff like the maintenance, the insurance, when you go to DMV and change all of your plates and documentation and everything. That's more money that has to come out of our pockets that we don't care to be investing. So yeah, you guys, in the end, fantastic technology. I enjoyed the experience, but I do not need to own that in my life. Like driving it for leisure to like review the experience or just try it out and just be admiring of it, I'm down with that. But me actually taking a vehicle like that home, no. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts. Do you drive a Toyota vehicle that is advanced in technology? Have you ever considered it? How do you feel about the way that technology in vehicles is evolving? Do you support it, or do you feel like me? Do you think that it should stick to the old days? Because dang, we are capable of driving. If we're capable of going to space, we can drive. We just gotta pay attention and not be distracted, and that way fatal stuff doesn't happen. I'm very old-fashioned. I've said that a couple times in the channel. A lot of things I'm just unwilling to change because I just believe in our beginnings as opposed to trying to let computers take over our world, our jobs and everything. So that's really the feeling that I was having in my chest the whole time. Maybe I'm very biased and it's keeping me from enjoying life a little better, but I think life is more enjoyable when I get to interact with it personally as opposed to a computer taking over. you know? Anyways, guys, that's all that I have to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you ever have an opportunity to go to a dealership and drive a new model of a vehicle, you go for it because it helps you appreciate what you have, or it helps you look forward to something that for you, it may work. All right, guys, I'll see you soon.